Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy, and this is a new episode of Pitiful Pet Food Posts on social media. And the reason I'm bringing up this one is this may go long, so I'm just warning you now. Look at how many minutes it is. You guys know I don't script my videos; I just kind of rant. But I got mentioned a bunch of times in social media this week, and so I'm kind of honored by that a little bit for such a tiny little channel out here that's pretty inconsequential. So anyway, I want to tell you all about it, and I really I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I really think we need to get a handle on the two camps: the people, the holistic, all natural, over here, and the what would we call it, science-backed, science-oriented people over here. And we need to come together a little bit, and we need to do that not so much for the people on the extremes, because we're very happy with our extreme opinions, and we're very confident, but all it does is cause a lot of confusion for the average pet parent that just wants to do what's best for their pet. And that's really kind of how my channel has morphed into, really just trying to help pet parents. And I thank you when you do respond and tell me how it's been helpful. But we do have to kind of understand both sides, and stop the bickering, because all it does is demonize both sides. And again, that's not hurting the people on both sides, because we're totally sure that we're correct and the other side is wrong. That's not going to change. But it's all the people, and there's so many more, all the people in the middle that are just hearing all this stuff, and all it does is create anxiety and frustration and confusion. And that's not good. That's not good for anybody. And the sad fact is, we all love our animals like family, and we're all trying to do our best. So let's go through some of this. Is going to be kind of comical, and again, I want to be respectful, but it's kind of funny. We're going to go through a bunch of posts, and it all started with Kat the vet posting about Royal Canin's new fresh diet. And just as I told you, the critics are going to come out of the woodwork on this one, and they sure did. So let's just jump right in, and I hope you enjoy this. Again, we need to enjoy this, have some entertainment with it, but we also need to kind of reflect and learn. Learn to do a better job being better people, I think. So anyway, let's do it. So I love sharing when I find a great channel out there with a veterinarian or even a non-vet that just has great information. I want to share that. And Kat the vet, you could look her up. She's on Instagram. She's all types of platforms. Very outspoken veterinarian. She's in England, and she really tries to do a lot of what I do to try to help pet parents not get caught up in the pet food marketing and the shaming and the fear mongering, all that kind of stuff. And she's very well known in Europe, and of course, not very liked by the people on the other side. So she just posted about the Royal Canin's new fresh diet. Pretty much took it right from the website, but she then linked my two videos. The one video I did on my review of RC's fresh dog food, and then the second one I did on the response from Sam the retailer, of course, attacking Royal Canin. So she attached both of those. Well, Dr. Connor Brady, another very well-known guy in the all-natural holistic world, he was he responded to that on his Facebook page, and a subscriber sent me a copy of that. Danielle, thank you, in Australia. She sent it to me, so I looked it up and like, whoa, look at that! I'm actually kind of getting famous. How cool is that? So anyway, I want to go through and show you his response to Kat the vet. And again, this was just an advertising saying, or an announcement saying, hey, Royal Canin has these fresh diets, looks great. And here's two links from the Pet Food Puzzle Guy where you can learn more. And so all she did, and here's his response. So let me just say before we get started that if you go to Dogs First on Facebook, that is Dr. Brady's Facebook group, but he has lots of other stuff going on, all kinds of platforms. I mean, this is his deal. This is what he does. The guy is a really smart, brilliant guy. Now, he's not a board certified nutritionist, but he has degrees in all kinds of stuff. And there's one in nutrition affecting behavior, so he's kind of a behavior guy. But he is not a stupid guy. I mean, this guy, this guy's pretty sharp, and I kind of like him. I like, and of course, I like his Irish accent, but he seems like a genuine guy. Really believes and is committed to what he's doing. I think this is his career. I don't think he does anything else. But the problem I have with him is I've seen some of his interviews with Dr. Judy, and you all know what I think of Dr. Judy. I know she knows nothing about nutrition, so uh, that hurts my trust in him. He could be brilliant in a lot of things, but our bias always affects things, and I think it affects his response to Royal Canin. So again, the guy's brilliant. I disagree with him. Who am I? I'm just, I guess, siding with the board certified nutritionists and the results of science. Um, Again, I wish he wasn't siding with people like Dr. Judy and Dr. Becker, because I'm sure a lot of what he's into, which is way beyond my realm, is really interesting. I went to his Facebook groups, all kinds of interesting stuff there. And it's a shame, again, that it's like, well, I can't believe him because I'm over here, and nobody can believe Glenn because I'm over there. That's just really stupid. But I guess that's human nature. So anyway, let's jump in. So here's his response. This was about a week ago. Yesterday, if you walked into Nestle's Cat the Vet and told her you were feeding rice, pork, squash, and spinach to your pet, balancing it by adding a vitamin mineral powder made by a company that magically guaranteed it balanced said meal for exactly your dog's needs, she would have warned against it, highlighting the many, many dangers with such a move, and she would have so many reasons. Now, let's just we see his bias right away. She's is not employed by Nestle. She did do one speaking thing with them, but she's on her own. She's independent, just as independent as he is. But we have to throw that in there, because if we can attach big pharma or big kibble to somebody, well, that immediately destroys their credibility. And it's very effective. I mean, I kind of almost did it, I guess, subconsciously, taking Dr. Brady and attaching him to Dr. Judy. That immediately, for many of you, you're like, oh, well, then I really can't trust what he has to say. So it's like we teach our kids, be careful your friends, because you'll be associated with them. And so I guess that's just true even in adulthood. So he's right away, oh, well, you can't believe anything she says because she's paid by Nestle. And what she's saying, what he is saying, is that just by concocting a bunch of stuff and adding a supplement, there's many dangers to that. Now, what's the one danger I can think of is that it could be totally unbalanced and deficient or excessive, whatever. And I'm sure that's what she meant. But let's go on. Okay, so today, if you walk into Nestle's Cat the Vet feeding rice, pork, squash, and spinach, and a Centrum tablet added by Mars Candy Company, well, now it's fabulous. Yep, fresh food is okay now, guys, as long as it comes in a wrapper. So right away, he's trying to throw doubt that, oh, she's changed her position from be careful if you're doing it at home to now it's okay because Mars is doing it. Well, she's not changing her position. It's the same position, and I agree with her. If you're doing it at home, there's a big chance you're going to screw it up because you're not a food scientist, you're not a board certified nutritionist, you don't have the facilities, you don't have all the ingredients. Whose recipe are you trusting? People that have no credentials in nutrition but are making formulas and selling them on the internet. So yeah, it is a lot different when you have Rokanen and all the expertise and abilities they have. They could do it. Now, they could make a lousy fresh food. This was their first one. I'm happy to say, when I looked at the nutrient levels and the ingredient panel, they actually made a really healthy food here. So it's another great option for people if they want to spend that kind of money and they believe fresh is somehow better. And Rokanen is not changing their position. They're not saying fresh is better. They're just saying, if you want a fresh option, here you go. If you want canned, we got that. If you want dry, we got that. Now, when I say the dangers, Cat the Vet still believes in those dangers. I still believe in those dangers. And you know who else does? Dr. Becker, Rodney Habib. Let me just show you. This is from one of Rodney's presentations somewhere. Let me see if I get the whole thing in here. Study shows over 90% of dogs fed a raw meat-based diet at home. At least one or more nutritional imbalances were found when examined by diet calculations. So 90%, now these were raw diets, okay, but at home diets. So whether it's freshly cooked or raw, if you're doing it yourself, we're going to put in that same category. 90% had imbalances. Here's another slide from his, and this one I'm really surprised with. Feeding a minimally processed diet is important, but feeding a diet formulated and balanced properly is even more important. So again, Dr. Becker and Rodney are real into get away from ultra processed, get back to more natural, whole, clean ingredients. Okay, that's their thing. This is their slide, not mine, saying, hey, you know what? It's more important that it be properly balanced than whether it's processed or not. So again, I agree. So here's this brilliant guy. This Dr. Brady is no slouch. He's a smart guy. But do you see how you're biased? And we're all guilty of this. I'm sure I am too. I'm sure you could pick it out in my videos. But he's blasting RC. He's blasting Cat the Vet. They're not changing their positions. Their positions are solid. And actually their concerns, which they get blasted about all the time for being, stupid or ignorant, whatever, those slides are from Ronnie's presentation. They're not from Cat the Vet. So who's being consistent and who's being inconsistent here? He goes on to say, I put fresh in brackets there as they're not allowed to call it that. Note FEDIAP, I guess that's in Europe, so I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with it. But guidelines 5242 use the word fresh, saying cooked. Ultra processed junk food may not use the descriptor fresh because it's not fresh, nor is it food. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the guidelines, but again, this guy is not dumb. He's pretty smart, but here he is going to say, no, it's not fresh, and no, it's not even food. That's kind of like when Dr. Judy says, when BK Pets asked her, what do you think of these prescription diets? It's all crap. I wouldn't feed it in a million years to my pet. When you go so extreme and say something that's pretty much dumb, all it does is hurt your credibility. And this is a credible guy. I mean, he has opinions. We disagree on a lot of stuff, but I'm sure a lot of what he's getting into and researching all is really great stuff. But it's lost for everybody in my camp and many veterinarians. I'm sure, he would call them conventional vets, whatever. The brainwashed ones. But you can't go so extreme and say dumb things and then not expect people to disregard you. And we all have to be careful of that, right? It's just the way it is. But so it's not food and it's not fresh, according to Dr. Brady. Okay, and here's where little old me gets mentioned. So again, I'm kind of sorry, but for a little channel like me, it's nice to get mentioned out there, whether it's good or bad, right? In another public flip. So again, he's saying Royal Canin has flipped their position. Cat the Vet has flipped the position. I just showed she hasn't flipped any position at all. She's still consistent. But in another little public flip, I love the way a defensive Nestle's Cat the Vet, who until today always proclaimed we should never think of ourselves and only take nutritional information from vets who have completed further studies in dry food. They don't have studies in dry food. They have studies in clinical nutrition, dry, canned, everything. So that's a little weird. Immediately eliminating herself from the conversation. So in other words, we really should listen to the credentialed people. I agree totally with that. Now she's telling everyone that if you want to know more about how great this food is, to go to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy. Know him? Not a vet, obviously. He's a guy that worked for Hills for 30 years. 34 years actually, but whatever, and now runs around telling everyone why fresh food is dangerous. So let's stop right there. I think, again, she's consistent. She's saying she's not a nutritionist, but she's a practicing vet. She sees a lot. She goes to CE. She goes to lectures. She learns a lot from the people that do have the know-how, that are making those therapeutic diets that she gets to use and look like a star when they work so great. I was trained by those same people, not so much in the last years after the internet, everything became virtual, but I used to have to fly to the lectures and hear from the people. Even Dr. Mark Morris Jr., I got to learn under him, which is a big thrill to me. To most of you, that means nothing. But I was just the messenger. I'm not the brilliant guy, okay? Or the brilliant scientist. Neither is Kat the vet. She's just saying, here's what the experts are saying. Here's the evidence that I'm convinced as a veterinarian. Here's the evidence for me that I saw it every day, day in and day out for 34 years, seeing what these diets did. And not just Hills. I was responsible for Hills, but I got to know Relcanin diets and Purina diets, and I loved comparing them and picking them apart and which ones were better in this disease category, which ones were better in that. Each company does have their own kind of ones that they really are stellar at. They're not all the same. But so anyway, again, no one's changed their position. The last thing he says here, that I run around telling people why fresh food is dangerous. You know, what do I say on my channel? As soon as somebody starts telling you a certain form is better than another form, they're ingredientists. They know nothing about nutrition. I can make a beautifully balanced, healthy diet, even a therapeutic diet, in a dry kibble form, in a canned form, in a raw form. Well, raw might be a little difficult for therapeutic, but we could get pretty close. A gently cooked. The form does not matter. It's the nutrients delivered, the bioavailability, all that good stuff that generally doesn't get talked about in pet food marketing. But no way, show me where I go around saying fresh food is dangerous. Doing it yourself, yeah, it's dangerous, just like Rodney said in those slides. Okay, that's just proof. So an ex Hills pet food rep says it's great. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a Hills guy, but the Royal Canin, they did a nice job. But because I look at more than what Dr. Brady looks at, so we're looking at two different approaches. The horrible desperation of it. Yes, we're all we're all just so desperate. Kat the vet is just wringing her hands because she's so desperate, because now she doesn't know what to think, or she's flipped her positions. No, she hasn't. Come on, that's silly. So they will say literally anything to keep us feeding our pets junk and needing Mars Incorporated vet services soon after. So now again, I'm sure he and I, over a beer or something, we would agree the whole Mars takeover is not a good thing in any way, shape, or form. But I have heard this as a Hills rep. I heard this decades ago. Not as before the internet, it wasn't as big as, once the internet got involved, every dumb idea got exploded all over the world. But the idea was, or the idea here is, what Dr. Brady's saying is that, yeah, Mars is committed to feeding your pets junk so that they get sick and they have to go to the vet. Now Mars owns the vet clinic, so it's a win-win for them all the way around. Years ago, I used to hear as a Hills rep, oh, well, Hills puts poison in their science diet so that the animals will get sick and they'll need their prescription diet. Excuse me. So, the same conspiracy has been going on forever. Of course, that's absurd, especially the Hills part. Again, the Mars part, I don't like them taking over. I think it will hurt the professional, turn more into a profit generating type of industry. But no, they're not making bad diets to get your animals sick so that you go to the vet. And the numbers prove that out. That's science. Okay. And he finishes up with this. Folks, if you want to feed poor quality pork anus and a horrible amount of cheap carb filler from Asia, ultra processed last year, and made look like food via the power of a plethora of chemicals not on the label, why not plug said actual ingredients into my diet formulator? Still free for a couple more days. That's nice. It will actually help you balance it using real and actually fresh food ingredients. It will be cheaper and very, very significantly better for your pet. I don't know anything about the pork anuses, so maybe he has inside information that I don't have. So I can't. And cheap carb fillers from Asia, ultra processed last year. I don't know. Again, I have my bias. He has his. I can't really comment on much of that there. Sorry, that's where you come down to trusting the company and not trusting the company. Clearly, he has a diet formulator. I have a hard time trusting formulators. Maybe his is good. There's other people that have them. Again, what's his credentials? That formulator? Maybe somebody else made that formulator. Some there's Balance It out there. There's means out there to do this yourself. And if that's your thing, go for it. I have no problem with that. If that's your, just do it. Whatever your passion is, man, just do it right. That's all. Just understand nutrients matter, not just ingredients. Um, so again, you want to do it with fresh ingredients, and it'll save you money. I do think the Royal Canin stuff is really expensive. Then go for it. But see the difference between me and the other side there, where the other stuff will kill you. They're just out to hurt you. They just want to hurt your animals so they can make more money in a Mars Candy Company veterinary clinic. On and on and on. It's all just garbage. I'd never feed it in a million years. That's why I have a hard time trusting the stuff I don't know that they bring up, because I know enough in my experience. So does Kat the vet, that when we hear certain things, especially from Dr. Judy, she's probably the worst, but I have the videos of him having conversations with her, and it's like, wow, this is kind of scary. Again, I'm no super expert, but there's certain things I do know, and when you get those wrong, then it's hard for me to trust you with the stuff I don't know. Does that make sense? So anyway, so let's go on. So the sad thing is, this is his position. I'm not going to convince him of anything different. He and I will always disagree. Again, it's the people in the middle that really I have a heart for. Clearly the people that are following him and responding with these uh, um, comments you're going to hear, they're not in the middle either, but I can understand their frustration and their confusion. So let's just look at a few of them. So here's Jennifer, and Jennifer says, "Yep, I've heard of the pet food puzzle guy. Laughable, the stuff on his YouTube channel, and he had quite a few things to say about you, Connor." Then in parentheses, God, I'd love to hear a discussion between you two. I think we actually could have a pretty good discussion. And others that promote healthy feeding, but sadly, his followers are very quick to agree with him and completely dismiss any other opinion. I don't know. I get a few people that definitely have quite a unique opinion, and we have some people that are even a whole lot smarter than me. I think of George and Peter kind of becoming the resident nutritionists on my channel. They go deep into nutrition, that stuff I don't want to try to get into with everybody. But so yeah, I like a diverse opinion base. But yeah, so I'm just laughable. But hey, that's okay, I guess. Not everybody's going to agree with me, right? So Dr. Connor was nice enough to actually respond to Jennifer, and this is what he says. You're over the target when they're paying folks to take shots at you. Unfortunately, he's not relevant enough for me to respond. Tell him I said that. He'll like that. Okay, first of all, why is it whenever somebody supports the nutritionist at Hills, Royal Canin, or Purina, it means we're being paid? Um, there's no target, and boy, I wish somebody was paying me to spout my my rants and all this kind of stuff. It's just so funny. Again, it goes back to that. Don't listen to what he's saying. Destroy his credibility. So he's being paid by Hills. I got paid by Hills very well for 34 years. I can guarantee you they haven't been paying me for the last 3 years now, especially with what I say on my YouTube channel. But no, Hills is that there's no target, no one's paying me. But again, the doctor probably knows. Well, maybe he doesn't know that. We don't know how. None of us know how the algorithm and who gets paid on YouTube or not. But I'm here to tell you, whether you're one of my supporters or part of the nutrition mission, or you're somebody that can't stand anything I say, it's all me. It's not coming from Hills. It's not coming from Royal Canin. Nobody's paying me. And you're right, my tiny little channel. I mean, I'm thrilled with how far it's gone. It's hard to believe that I have any followers. All 5,000 is my goal for subscribers. For no reason, just because it's a cool number. But it's been a blast meeting people, and I feel like I have friends out there now. Here's another one. She's a piece of shit, and so is that Rolf Harris look-alike pet food puzzle guy. Now, I don't know who Rolf Harris is. I'm going to have to look him up when I'm done with my video just to see how ugly this guy is. But, um, there you go. If somebody disagrees with you, no matter how sincere or passionate they are, they're just a piece of shit, because they're just so evil. And that's what we have to get away from, okay? I am sure that Dr. Connor, I would never say he's a piece of shit or he's evil, whatever. I don't know who he's paid by. He's got his own way of making money, which is funny. Nobody else can make money but the people that are holistic and write the recipes in the book. Somehow they're righteous to make money, but nobody else can. Really interesting. But anyway, we'll have to see who Rolf Harris, who he is. And here's Sasha. Aren't we only supposed to listen to vets or board certified nutritionists too? But we can listen to this retired from Hills after 34 years guy. Um, well, you have to be careful who you listen to. We all have to be. Yeah, I listen to the board certified nutritionists, and no, vets don't have a lot of nutrition training. The nutrition training they have is applicable for in the clinic, and of course they learn a lot after vet school, and of course they see a lot. They learn a lot from experience, and some are really into nutrition, and some aren't, just like human doctors. But no, veterinarians would not be who I would go to. It would be the nutritionists. And again, because I was trained by some of these people, I think of their names, a lot of them are retired now. I knew their passion, I knew their love for the science, and I saw the diets they ended up producing and the results in the clinic. So I would agree with Sasha. Don't listen to me. I guess what I'm saying is I'm just telling you what they taught me. Okay, again, I'm not the brilliant mind here, that's for sure. And I really try to be careful not to go further than my base knowledge, which is pretty basic. But my channel is not to get deep into clinical nutrition at a really scientific level. It really started out just to show you all the marketing and how deceitful it was. I had no idea the raw people and the homemade people were going to come after me, and I had no idea they had such animosity toward the therapeutic diets that I grew to love because I saw the results with all these animals. So you can listen to me and then judge whether or not what I'm saying is a bunch of crap, which I'm sure some of you think that way. But most of it's coming from the people that taught me. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not doing my own research. I am sharing the consensus of what's out there among the people that really are pretty smart and make these diets work the way they do. And Sasha added this detailed breakdown of me, which again I'm kind of kind of flattered, and it's actually a pretty good deal here. I think she was pretty accurate. The pet food puzzle guy. He is a former employee of the Hills Pet Food, not a veterinarian. That is totally true. I try to share that as often as I can without being boring. His focus, this is really good. He analyzes pet food ingredients, marketing claims, and provides insights into the pet food industry. Um, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty accurate. Not a veterinarian, kind of already said that, but he does not hold a veterinary degree or specialize in veterinary nutrition. Again, I'm old school. I was just trained by those guys and gals. But no, I don't have the silly certificates, all these people that get on YouTube and I'm a canine nutritionist and I'm a dog nutritionist and I'm a this and that. Anybody could go get these silly certificates from all these different groups that are forming. I could make my own course and get people certified in canine nutrition just with telling them what I know and giving them a test. So I don't believe in any of that stuff. I'm not going to waste my time or try to deceive somebody that I'm something that I'm not. Okay, I was just trained by the best people, and that's what I share. And you take it for what it's worth. Consult a vet. I'm not sure why this is in here, but I'm good with this. For specific dietary needs and health concerns related to your pet, always consult with a veterinarian or veterinary nutritionist. I could not agree more. That is absolutely true, and I hope I convey that in my videos. But anyway, so Sasha really went out of her way here, and I appreciate it. And it's pretty that's pretty accurate. But then, as nature intended, put a couple things, a couple comments, and Sasha wrote back, "Oh, I discovered that idiot a couple years ago, as bad as Skeptic Vet." Now, so there you go. I'm back to just being an idiot, but I do appreciate her putting the time into my description. Um, I have to say though, again, I love Kat the Vet. I think everything she does is great, so that's why I disagree with these folks. But Skeptic Vet, or Skep Vet, I think is how you actually go, the channel name. Go check this guy out. I wish I knew his name. It's not coming to me. There's some people you just listen to them and you know they're smart. Okay, this guy could probably read a telephone book and sound impressive, but he's a practicing veterinarian. He doesn't just talk about nutrition; he talks about all kinds of stuff. And I'm just my personal opinion. I think the guy is brilliant. He's again one of those people. I'm so glad he's out there to help pet parents. But if she's going to include me in that, I'm just as bad as he is. Wow, I'll wear that as a badge of honor. All these people are just putting me into this community of people that I look up to. I could only, there's no way I can measure up to their abilities and all. But so I'll take it. I'll take credit for that. That's awesome. But definitely for those of you that are a little more open-minded and science-oriented, check out SkepVet. I think that's how he goes by his channel, and you will not be disappointed. And hey, it is a small world. I mean, these folks all know each other, I guess, because Chica and Company. I did a video or a couple videos with her. I forget what her name was, down in Australia, and she is a nutritionist, some type of certified nutritionist. And again, the stuff she was saying, I felt was so harmful and so not misleading, just flat out wrong, that I had to do a video to at least reassure some people that were using prescription diet to please get a second opinion, or to please just trust your veterinarian. But Chica and Company, she wrote to Sasha, so they're all having this conversation, and he loves to bully, call names, and generally be revolting to those with a YouTube platform that contradicts his 34 years of big pharma sales rep knowledge, aka marketing brainwashing, he does not subscribe to or understand. Um, so, have I bullied and called names and been revolting? I think in the beginning, those of you that have been with me from the start, um, maybe a little bit. What else does she say? Speak from experience. He's attacking Dr. Becker, Dr. Judy, Cam from the UK, and little old me from down under. I'm taking it as a compliment from Gap Tooth Glenn. So I guess I deserve that. So I was pretty rough on her, I think. And my and Cam, the dog nutritionist, yeah, I was pretty rough with him. I think he was my first video of countering what people are saying out there, and I hope I have learned, and I really I don't want to attack anybody. I don't want to bully, but and just because my motivation is not an excuse. The fact is, I hate when I see people, the anxiety and the confusion that these people that she just named there cause when they go too far. Instead of saying maybe some healthy alternative natural ways might be better than these therapeutic diets, or maybe we could do this along with working with your veterinarian. I mean, there's so much good science out there that they could say, well, we've learned some other stuff over here that we could apply. But instead, they demonize, they terrorize, uh, they just they say they don't, and they do. I see it all the time. And I see it with the results of the comments. Look at the comments, and I didn't put all the comments. There's tons of comments. Mars is garbage. Mars is killing animals. Hills kills. We hear it all the time. That is not helping anybody. That's pet parents getting confused, getting frustrated, coming off a therapeutic diet that has all the evidence, all the proof that it works. The veterinarians believe in it because they see it work every day, like I did for 34 years. And they now have to battle social media with people telling them it's all garbage and your vet doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. How is that helpful? So yes, if I get sometimes a little over the top, It's just because that's how angry I get because of the results of what these people are saying. So anyway, um, we're going to end it there. This went pretty long, but I hope you guys see there's two sides out there, and there's two extremes that are not going to change. But I think we need to start thinking how we can work together and not demonize each other. And this, I mean, come on, this would be true if we would do it in religion and politics. That would help too. But there's no reason we can't do it with pet food and pet nutrition, because we're all after the same thing. We love our animals like family. We want them to live for as long as they possibly can. We're just trying to do our best. You don't have to demonize people. So my pledge from now on is, if I disagree with somebody, I'm going to show why I disagree. But I am not going to, as Chica said, I'm not going to bully or name call or any of that stuff. So I'm going to try to be better. All right. So for those of you from the Nutrition Mission, thank you so much for all the support. And I am trying to do a better job of keeping up with comments. You know, and I really do appreciate them. And if you are new to my channel, check out some of my other videos. But I tell you what, the comment section, especially lately, the comments from different people, and Peter and George lead a lot of this. But people are really, I think we're all learning a lot, and people are researching things and putting comments in there. And also, again, that's all great. I really didn't expect that to happen, and I'm thrilled. So um, let's just keep learning and loving our animals. So again, thanks for the time to listen to this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.